Unmuted. How's everyone going? How's everyone going? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another Games monthly. It's turning into be a monthly podcast live stream, not a podcast. It's great. Thanks everyone for joining in. Today, I want to run through a little bit what's happening with Mifflin and then pivot, and we can spend some time speaking about Stars of Vicarious. So, quick Mifflin update. I wonder if I can I even share my screen here? Oh, I can share my screen. Look at this. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and just share the screen. Nathan, co-designer on Mifflin, posted an update. We are diving into like the nitty-gritty rule books, right? We have like 5 or 6 rule books that we have to write, 5 different character roles and then one for the town. It's a decent amount of work, and with that, it's the balancing of Mifflin. So for those of you who don't know, right, Mifflin is like highly asymmetrical cooperative games. Everyone takes a different character, plays all that fun stuff. Hey, and as always, you're tuning in. Feel free to ask questions about Mifflin, Vicarious. We'll be chatting about all of it. So we spent a lot of time, adjusting, tweaking, listening to feedback. A really neat thing is that Nathan and I, specifically Nathan a little bit more than I did, had a chance to sit down over Skype and meet with playtesters of Mifflin, of the recent test. And this was actually really neat, right? So face-to-face kind of customer discovery. What did players like? What did they not like? What were things that were fun? And it was really, really cool to have those opportunities, and really neat to kind of dive into that. Lots of story stuff, and we actually just we came out of a meeting talking about the game trays. I'm really excited. The box, it's going to be a cool box. Everything kind of stacks is going to be really neat. Probably the biggest change, I'm trying to think, the biggest change to component from what we showed on Kickstarter is that the town boards themselves are going to be, they're still dual layered, but it's a combination of plastic and cardboard. And the reason was that the big dual layer boards were actually getting some warping that we found in testing. And so we morphed it, and I'm excited to kind of show you what's going on there. So next steps on Mythwind were, I think did we just pay the deposit? We paid a manufacturing deposit to secure a place in line. Miniature development is ongoing with the factory, and we are hoping to get a Delta build live for our playtesters, hopefully by the end of the month. That should be the goal, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on with Mifflin. I'm realizing that there's a lot of dog hair on my. Yeah, I gotta change that. Oh, Kona, getting dog hair everywhere. So speaking of Stars of Vicarious, you can see it back there. Boom, big box. It's been so neat. Everyone getting their copies. Well, sorry, not quite everyone. Let me just double check here. I just had an update from our logistics guy about some of the freight information. So this is, I'll go from top to bottom, and we can kind of, if you have questions, just make sure to chat. So Asia, VFI, Japan, Philippine hubs have received their packages, and fulfillment has been completed elsewhere. So still a couple outstanding fulfillments there. Australia and New Zealand, fulfillment is 100% complete with no returns, except there's two errors in the two partial orders that we have to kind of fix. Europe, so today, hopefully, tomorrow, June 9th, delivery of container at Fulfillment Europe. The plan is, it got caught up. If you read the Kickstarter update, we got chosen for an inspection. Really weird. that EU, when they choose you for an inspection, then they charge you for that inspection. So I don't quite understand what was going on there, but hey, so it's delaying things a bit. I am hoping, I'm not 100% sure. Let me just see here. It is like there's an estimate that it'll take like a week to start processing and start to fulfill the orders, and then a couple weeks afterwards. And then, sorry, fulfillment of the orders is anywhere from like 3 to 30 days, just kind of depending on the country. So hopefully, I think maybe by the end of next week, EU and UK will be kind of fulfilling. Hopefully, obviously I'll let you know. And Bridge, so this is US. They got all 3 containers last week. I think before they got the other 2 containers, they had only fulfilled 10% of the orders. As of today, they are at 25% complete of orders. That's 700 out of 2,800 orders. And they are doing 1,000 orders per week. So by this math, it seems like by the end of next week, hopefully that all of the US orders will have been shipped. Hopefully. So it's great. The goal would be by the end of June, people are getting their games, people are playing, all that fun stuff. That's the hope, that's the goal. And let me actually, I'm gonna sorry, about Canada. So Canada, apparently, what I've been told is that if you haven't received your copy by the end of the week, Eric, I'm just looking at you, Eric. If you haven't received your copy by the end of the week, please email hello at OOMM Games, and we'll have it there. And again, if there's been any damage or any missing components, before you send an email about missing components, please do like a thorough check of the box. There's a lot of components. It's a big box. But if you do have any issues, make sure to email hello at OOMM Games. And then, yes. Okay. So let me just go like this, and okay, that's our fulfillment. Okay. So Stars of Vicarious, right? Oh yeah, I'm talking about the app. So the app has been submitted to the Android store. We're doing the iOS build right now, so that may take just a moment. And then, I posted a couple photos of people who have been painting up some of their ships and Stars of Vicarious. Really it's just neat to see, right? Neat to see all that fun stuff happen. And for those of you who haven't yet, the FAQ here, it's like, it's getting kind of long. Actually, never mind. It's not too bad. There's a piece here at the end. For some reason, scenario 57 in the last, I don't know which edit happened, but there's a command copy paste error. And so, we're going to include kind of refresh digital stuff once this has been up for a while. And as far as like the majority of, a lot of these are just kind of little typos, a bunch of little typos. They're probably the biggest kind of issue is that on the player boards, let me just see if we can get that here. On the player boards, okay. Yeah, can I zoom in? That's the question. Oh, I'm trying to. So on the player boards here, you have 3 dice slots for repair. And I don't know what happened here, but these 3 dice slots should be joined like this, because you have to slot in 3 dice in order to get the result at the bottom. So you have to slot in all 3 dice in order to get the 2 repair minus 2 stress plus 2 supply. So that is that for me, as far as like issues go, that's like the largest kind of glaring issue that's been discovered and is definitely kind of annoying. Um, I'm trying to see what else. There's a bunch of FAQ stuff. Make sure if you have questions post FAQ, I'll try to get it. Most days. Otherwise, you can ask questions inside Board Game Geek or Facebook or Discord. We have active communities in all three of those. Three of those groups, which is it's been really neat to see, because obviously I'm not gonna be able to answer all of the questions, except I guess on live streams, right? So, Nathaniel Wolf asks a question. Can we use stress in repair slots? Yes, you can, but you would have to increase your stress. So, when you increase your stress, you actually would trigger those. So say you hit one of the stress triggers, the thresholds. You have to actually resolve that before you resolve the repair effect, right? So if you cross the threshold, maybe you shuffle in a miscard, whatever it is, and then you decrease. So make sure that you do that. But yes, you can use repair slots. Eric, you don't even have the game yet. You're welcome. Hopefully, when you get the game, you'll be able to enjoy it and have fun. Really happy with the initial feedback. So far, it's the game. If you're wondering why there hasn't been any like big reviewers getting the game, is because we sent them. I think I sent them like all ins, or at least if I didn't send them an all in, I sent them the core box and the ship expansion, and so those didn't really start fulfilling until end of last week, beginning of this week, and then Origins is happening this week. Oh, speaking of Origins, so I don't know if anyone's going to be there, and if you're there, you're probably not watching this, but apologies in advance. So here, let me just close this. Apologies in advance. We did send like 40 or 50 copies to Origins, just of the core box, because that's all we had, because all the just solid core box games had finished fulfilling. And so if you're wondering why someone can pick it up at Origins and you still haven't received your copy yet, it's because the copies with all the goodies are being shipped. And we had extra core boxes lying around and Bridge is hanging out at Origin. So they're taking care of that for us. Okay. I am working on, I'm trying to think what else we're doing. Stars with Cars. Oh yes, the app. I forgot to mention about the app. So, well, as I mentioned, we have our Apple developer platform ready to go, and we're just waiting for the Apple build. And then here, I'm just going to log into my Google Dev account, and I think what I've been reading online is it's up to 7 days to get out of review. So the last test we did was like an internal test. You had to sign up your email, and it was really quick. This next bit, it's a open test, and so the plan is as soon as this gets reviewed and it's fine, then we will be able to kind of launch this app, and anyone who has an Android device can play the game. So I'm hoping it's good, but it's issues, and this is like a it's a trial for us. We've never developed an app in house, and we've outsourced development, and kind of still being on top of things. But it's going to be a trial process, a test. Great. Hey, well, I don't know. There's a couple dozen you out there. If you have any questions, feel free to sound off on things. I know so many of you are just waiting for the game to show up. And um, we're talking about, okay, what does the future entail for Carios, and why we can, potentially potentially we can do more in the universe and in the world. But first things first, deliver this game, um, uh, and hopefully more of you love it. Okay, we have a question about the Mifflin big box. But why isn't there a Mifflin big box, at least for core box plus expanded plus magical miniatures? Yeah, hey, good question. So I think you're gonna be happy. I alluded to this earlier, but the core box has been, like, it is an interesting size. Let me second. I'm just gonna pull it up here. The core box is kind of like a cube. There is a lot of game in this box, and we're stacking kind of trays upon trays. So we are. I'm just looking at my box. It's 255 millimeters, so that is it's like 10 inches by 230. Oh, you can't even see. Um, in lots of ways, Mifflin, the box of Mifflin, is kind of like if you chop a Carios in half. It's very interesting, and so um, I think it's a great size box. It's a different size box, and I think you'll be fine as far as space. And we want to do future expansions, and so ideally we do a big box that includes room for quite a few expansions. Okay. Kanye Studios, is that how you pronounce that? Kanye Studios. Let me just Google. Let me Google you up. Kanye Studios. Um, uh, I'm excited. Sorry, I am creeping you on here. But you asked the question if the shipping situation affected OOMM. So yeah, we slipped. Like, long story short, yes. Um, we slipped out of China just before the massive lockdown. So we were one of the last containers boarded up, the U.S. containers. So thankfully, we got out before the crazy. Like, I think it's been a month or so since like China like really locked down. And I'm not too sure the current status of it, but we managed to kind of slip out. So that was good. And then obviously the biggest, there's two big things, right? Shipping ended up being like 5 times more than we were anticipating, and then the box, yeah, as you can see, it takes up a lot of containers. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 6 containers worldwide, that got sent all around. So yes, it did affect us, and I guess there's a follow up to that. We've seen a few devs going out of business. How does OOMM stay viable so we keep on getting great games from the company? Well, we're doing all right. We're happy with Stars of Vicarious. We're sitting on a couple thousand copies extra that we can sell and distribute. And then Mythwind, trying to get Mythwind up there, is we did great. Did, I think, 1.3 million on Kickstarter. And we got better with our budgets and our kind of logistics compared to our last campaign. So that was positive. And looking ahead, we have a Stone. Oh, my face is in it. We have Stone Saga that's going to be coming out. And we're excited about that, and we're optimistic about how that's going to do. And we're doing fine as a company. We're doing well, and we're just quite fortunate that we can say that, and we're in a position to be able to say that. Sorry if you hear my dog, she's freaking out. Okay, Eric, you're asking if I've had time to play my copy at all, maybe waiting for the app. So I actually have the app, Can I just like, I'll just pull up the app here. Here, I'll get rid of, here we go. Okay, here's the app. Go to Vicarious story. Let's just pick a scenario. Let's load this up. So one of the biggest issues.
Absolutely cannot let the battle continue without doing everything you can to help. The calls from the
It's just like some ASMR stuff.
The further you pull away towards Medallion.
So anyways, I have the app. I could use the app if I want to. It's on an Android phone, which is less ideal. And then, it's cool. You can go to the maps and pinch to zoom if you want, or you can use these buttons, which people say it's kind of small, which is fair. And then, I've talked about the kind of the story creation you can make, which is really neat. I honestly think this is going to be a game changer. And so you can make your own story, all that fun stuff. So anyways, have the app, could use it if I want. Jocelyn, my wife, and I, we have a set of friends that we play a lot of games with. So I think we're starting an Vicarious campaign soon. So hopefully, it's just been busy. So I have not started. I actually haven't played a board game in a little while. I think the last game I played was Canvas. Yeah, bought Canvas, played it with some friends. Lots of fun. Okay, so David asked a great question. Have you considered doing small box style expansions for Vicarious a la Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion? So this is an interesting one because Jaws of the Lion is like a standalone expansion with like, yeah, it's a standalone expansion, right? Small box standalone. It is really interesting, the components that are in Stars of Vicarious. It was never like designed with retail in mind, because it is expensive to make, and it's big and it's a commitment. There's a couple things that, as I thought about, what a version 2.0 or expansion like that could look like, we would have to compromise on quite a few like different areas. The main ones being that all of the player boards would have to, be single layer. Same with the enemy boards. Probably get rid of some of the trays, maybe reduce the number of miniatures, definitely reduce the number of cards, right? There's like a bunch of like elements that are like really, really neat, and I actually love in Vicarious. And so something that I've actually considered more so, I've thought about future expansions, but I've also kind of toyed around with what would it look like to, take the big box of Stars of Vicarious and like split it into 3 boxes. Because a normal game doesn't have as much content as Stars of Vicarious. I was looking, I don't know which game I was looking. Was it Chronicles of Drunagar or something? That's the name of a game. I think the core box ships with like 13 scenarios. I think it's 13 scenarios. But Vicarious, let me just try to look for my. I'm trying to figure out how many boxes how many scenarios are in the opening act. Oh yeah, here we go. I have a PDF. I can even share the PDF. Oh guys, I have to run soon here. Let me have a meeting at 2. Share screen window. Okay, here we go. So this is the scenario book. Let me. I'm trying to. How can I? Oh, here it is. Okay, so scenario book. How many scenarios are in the first act? All this I used to know off the top of my head. There's a lot of content. Okay, so we are 94 pages. 63 scenarios, and not all of these are like gameplay scenarios. Some of them are like story bits like this, but still, 63 scenarios. I think the core. I think Act 1 is in between 20 and 50 hours of gameplay. And yeah, so I think Act 1 is that much. It'd be interesting to see kind of total play count afterwards. But I believe that there is a possibility of like splitting the game into the prologue, Act 1, and then you have Act 2 as a box and Act 3 as a box, different expansions. Because then you could have the buy-in quite a bit lower. It's expensive box right now. MSRP's at $170 US, which is worth it. It's kind of what we have to charge because the game is expensive. um, and yeah, so I think there's actually quite a bit there, and then you layer on the app as complete kind of variability. It just kind of takes it to the next level. Cool. All right, team. Oh, there's a question here about the miniatures. Yeah, so I think you can go on Kickstarter. Maybe I should probably release like a Kickstarter only update that has STLs. But yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. David, yeah, no, the gameplay is a lot. And obviously it depends how you play, how many people you're playing with. But I don't think you could do Act 1 in 20 hours. I hear people spend about 6 to 8 hours in the prologue alone, and the prologue is a pretty like on the rails experience. There's not much exploration or kind of variation. It's designed to teach you the game. I'm trying to look here. There is somebody who on Board Game Geek talked. Okay. So this person has spent 9.5 hours playing the game over 7 sessions, and he is only a couple hours into Act 1. Yeah, so about 6 hours on the prologue, and it gets big. Hey, Steve, this is big exciting. I don't know if Steve wants me throwing him under the bus. I'm imagining. I think this is the same Steve. Steve helped write on vicarious, and so hey, big shout out to you. Great team. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you have questions, make sure to hit us up on Facebook, Discord, all of that fun stuff. All right, team. Take care.